right, starting. Hello to all geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Welcome to MaliceCast TV Talks, where we're going to talk about brains and zombies and walkers and lots of shooting. There was lots and lots and lots of shooting going on.
Can we call them the Deadites and just get into the Evil Dead universe part of it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're going to talk about episode 2 of season 8, The Damned. That might be the only cussing we get on this episode, on this cast. I don't know.
No nudity.
Welcome everybody to the live cast. If you have any reactions or thoughts about the episode, definitely put them into the chat, and we will be watching that and responding back to you. So, getting right into it, let's talk about who's on the cast. You have me hosting Mess 5150. I have with me ICZorro.
What's going on, folks? I literally just watched the episode. I finished the episode about 15 minutes before we started this, so I am fresh.
Okay, awesome. I finished it like an hour or two ago, and I think Mrs. Malice probably watched it last night, so she's got the longest time to think about it.
Some time to reflect.
I did.
So, want to get right into it. Let's talk about how this episode was compared to last week's episode. Last week's episode was very confusing with all the flashbacks and the flash forwards and what's really going on. This one didn't really have any of that at all. It was straight to the point. It looked like it took place right after they attacked Negan, and they were all doing their own separate things of what strongholds they needed to take over and keep everybody quiet from spreading the word.
Yeah, it felt like the immediate phase 2 after the primary attack. Like they're hitting an outpost now. Or, you know, they're going and raiding a gun storage or supposed gun storage. And yeah, that felt pretty immediately after. I was a little disappointed we didn't see cussing. So Gabriel with his Essing pants, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
And no Negan either this episode. So
that's right.
That was that may have had some people upset because he is a fan favorite, even if he's a bad guy right now. So
he's absolutely a fan favorite character. The guy's charismatic as hell, just, you know, amoral.
But Mrs. Malice, what did you think? Yeah, exactly. What did you think about the episode compared to last week's?
I didn't like it as much as I liked the last week's episode better than this one, because this one was like, I felt like their attacks weren't like good enough. Like they failed in so many parts, so it's kind of upsetting.
Yeah, it definitely didn't end on the same high note that they had last week. We didn't have any Braveheart speeches going on, except from maybe Ezekiel.
Right.
I mean, who was your character of the episode for this week, Zorro?
I got to go with Ezekiel. I love the fact that when he after giving these crazy speeches in his patois to Carol, he broke character for just a second and said, "Get it, girl," or something along those lines.
The line was,
fake it till you make
it, baby.
Yeah. That was great. I love that because it reminded me of that. You know, there was like 5 minutes or something where he talked to her as an actual dude rather than King Ezekiel. And that brought me back to like, this guy he's playing a character for a reason. You know, he's leading these people. He's playing a character so that they have a purpose, and it's totally working.
Yeah. And that did throw back that Carol's the one that knows who he really kind of is, because he let that be known last season when he was.
Well, he had to, or she wouldn't have stayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Mrs. Malice? Who was your character?
Morgan.
Really? Yeah,
he was old Morgan again. So, and I kind of like the psycho Morgan. So,
he just needed to clear.
He can't be killed. He can't be killed.
And that's okay. So that's what I got to ask about that line.
I love that. I don't die.
I don't die. So is that, in your opinion, is that basically the wrong thing to say on a series like this? Does that foreshadow that we might lose Morgan this season?
I think he's maybe the one character that can pull off saying that and still live.
I don't think we're going to lose him. I don't.
Okay.
He's a strong.
Because I was like, that's ballsy to say on this show. When you give somebody that line, that's
I've watched enough TV in my life, and I know all the tropes where you're like, oh, you're in a survival show, and you just said, I don't die. You're probably going to die. I didn't get that flag didn't pop up for me.
No, and plus he's a key like background character for Rick, so he is needed for Rick. So.
I think you're right. I think he kind of tethers Rick to his humanity post survival mode. Even though he met him after the apocalypse started, that was when he was still like he didn't know what was going on. This was just a kind man that helped him out. I love the fact that Lenny James is a main character on the show again. That guy is amazing.
Yeah, the guy is an amazing actor, and when you hear him talking in his normal British accent, it's like what? He's got such a good American accent.
Well, remember wasn't he also in Love Actually with Andy Lincoln?
I don't know. Was Lenny James in Love Actually?
I thought he was.
My wife's a big Love Actually fan, so well, yeah.
If not that, then he's definitely been in like most of the Guy Ritchie, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Like, he gets the full on, dirty English patois going on.
Morgan.
Oh yeah, he was in that movie, wasn't he? I don't remember that.
And Snatch.
He was in Snatch.
He was in Snatch.
We're going on to a whole Lenny James love affair here now.
I love the guy.
So, he's an amazing actor.
But yeah, there was the moment where, I mean, did anybody really think he was dead when he went down with the rest of them?
No.
I didn't. Yeah, it would have been too.
No, but that's what I want to ask. How did he not get hit by any bullets in that barrage?
I think he might have. He was just so enraged that, when you're angry and you got adrenaline, or what's that word?
Adrenaline. Yeah.
Adrenaline. You don't feel it until you've calmed down, and then maybe he was shot, maybe he wasn't.
I feel like if he was shot, they would have shown us some evidence of it. Like they wouldn't have gone the rest of the episode without showing like, hey, there's blood leaking from under his chest piece.
And that's where my fear is with this whole like
that great armor.
Really painting a picture of how
sports equipment.
He's unstoppable and saying I don't die, and then they show him not getting shot in that. I'm like, they're showing way too much to say that he's 100% safe.
You might be right. He might buy it at the end of the season. Or close to the end of the season. I could see that, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Oh, no. With the whole like, did he not catch a bullet thing? Did you notice he was giving kind of weird looks before that door even opened? Like, I think
he was.
I mean, it was he basically just dropped to the ground as everybody else got shot. Like, well, I guess I'm going to play dead right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like he was doing, was playing dead, because
absolutely.
So.
The name of this show name of this episode should have been "Fake It Till You Make It."
Absolutely.
I think the actual name of this episode is "Who the Hell is Morales?" But
I know he is.
But I think I expect to know who it is, because you're the diehard Walking Dead fan that watches the show over and over again and know the in and outs that are going on. Zorro, you being
I've been watching the start.
Yeah, so have I.
Now,
but did you know who he was when you saw him?
No, he looked vaguely familiar. And when Rick said, "I remember you're Morales from Atlanta," the first thing that I thought was, remember there was that like street gang that had kind of taken over and captured Rick's bag of guns? I thought maybe he was from there, but actually in our pre-show chat, he reminded me he was at the camp with them in season 2,
season 1. Yeah. He was in the first 5 episodes.
Oh yes,
second through 5th episode.
He left with his family.
He was when they got trapped in the department store. Was he there?
He was on the first group that found Rick.
With Glenn and
with T-Dog and
because it wasn't him that Merle was attacking specifically, but he was up there.
He's the one that told them that they had to tell Daryl the truth about Merle.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, totally.
And I'll explain a little bit more of him as we get deeper into it. But let's talk about favorite moments of this episode. So back to Mrs. Malice. What was your favorite moment of the episode? What was the best part of the episode?
Kind of have 2. One, when Sheba attacked the dude in the forest. Of course, we bring that tiger in. That's gonna be my favorite moment. And then, of course, when Morgan gets up and starts a killing spree.
So you just like death.
Boom, 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 boom.
She just likes blood and guts.
You just like killing and death, and that, you know. She didn't like this episode as much because they was not as much just destroying Negan's arm.
Shovels and rakes and implements of destruction. Yeah.
But the greatest part is after he gets through the building and he walks out, and the guy's like, "Hey, you were transferred here too," and Morgan walks up and gets ready to shoot him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna need a reminder on who that guy was.
He's the one that killed the little boy that Morgan was training in the kingdom.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
His name, but
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it seems Morgan's flipped a switch, so we'll see what's going to happen with that. But we'll talk about that a little bit later too. Zorro, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite moment was actually just purely from an acting standpoint. It wasn't a good moment in the episode, but Andy Lincoln, when he realized that he had killed that little girl's father, just him standing there in that room after having said after having seen the tattoo on the guy's chest that said "Grace be good," and walks into the room and sees the word Gracie. Okay, and then and then sees Gracie on the wall, and just seeing that girl sleeping there, like the acting that he did there was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I literally thought, of course they have a mirror hanging there so he can reflect on his own actions right there. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was a fantastic moment. It wasn't a good moment, but it was a fantastic moment.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite scene of the whole episode was Ezekiel's just his talk and telling Carol that there's nothing to worry about and stuff like that, followed closely by his main henchman axing that zombie,
Jerry.
And then the reaction that he got from him when he was like, "What happened to this creature?" And Jerry gets like it was my axe, you know?
No, before that.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's
so Shakespearean. It's fantastic.
Well, it was a very Gimli moment from it's got my axe embedded in his head.
And my axe. Yeah, I love that. Jerry's great. And for a second there was a little pause moment with Jerry after he does a full-on baseball swing at one of the zombies, where he stumbled a little bit, and I had to actually back it up for about 30 seconds and noticed that he had a red armband on. At first I thought he had gotten hurt somehow, and I was like, "Not Jerry, no."
Yeah, no. That's the actor that plays Ezekiel had nothing but great things to say about how amazing Jerry's going to be this season. That's his favorite.
That makes me very happy.
Character writing is just they're going to use him a lot more this season than they did last.
Now, a fact too that the zombie that Jerry did kill was kind of waterlogged. So guess what they're close to.
The water.
The sprinkler system. Are they close to Oceanside?
Yeah, that's where all the waterlogged.
Oh, nice. So they're gonna.
It's like a sign that they're close to Oceanside, maybe.
Okay. So you're thinking they're gonna bring that community back into the story?
Yeah, maybe they'll join the fight finally.
That would be rad.
Well, and that's two things we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen that community come back in, and we haven't seen the trash people come back.
The heapsters?
The people can stay gone. The trash people can stay gone.
Yeah, their syntax was terrible.
But
however,
yes.
Okay, and this is sort of outside show, but after the premiere episode on Talking Dead, when they did the whole Hollywood Bowl after show thing, the leader of the heapsters was on that show, so they're going to be involved at some point.
Oh yeah.
I felt so bad for her at Comic-Con
because just because of the haircut.
No. So at Comic-Con, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but at Comic-Con, both Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are always on the same day at Comic-Con. A tradition has happened where actors from Game of Thrones come down to the Hall H line at night and talk with the people and take pictures and stuff like that. So you had members of the Game of Thrones cast there taking pictures. The leader of the heapsters, we're going to coin that phrase, the trash heapsters. The leader of them was sitting there and talking to like one person, and like nobody was talking to her. And I was like, I'm looking at her, I'm like, I know her from something, but I can't figure out what it is. And it wasn't until I was on my way back to the hotel, I was like, Walking Dead. But like nobody was talking to her. I don't want to be that guy that walks up and goes, I love you in whatever you're in. Like I've seen you in something.
The job that I do, I meet a random amount of celebrities sometimes, and sometimes there's people where I'm like, you look really familiar, but I don't want to be like, where do I know you from? Because they get that all the time.
It just means that you didn't put a good impression as whatever acting job you were doing, but she did. And
one specifically, and this is a weird call out. Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine came up and with a group of friends, and I was like, wait a minute. And I just didn't say anything. But her friend came back later, and I was like, your friend looks a lot like like that girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like, yeah, that's her. Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, let's get into kind of the things that were going on in the episode. Before we do that, what was least favorite moment? So Zorro, what do you think was the worst part of the episode?
I think I don't know that I had a particular worst moment. Just the fact that it felt like it was just action. There was not a ton of plot development. And I appreciate the fact that it's, like I said earlier, phase 2 of their assault plan on the Saviors. But just, I don't know. The first one was very satisfying as far as moving the plot forward. This one felt a little like, okay, so we're continuing the war. Let's keep going. Also, I didn't like that Eric got shot. That sucked.
And that's what I was going to ask is, does anybody really care that he got
He's not the hugest character. The reason that we don't like Eric got shot is because we love Aaron.
We love Aaron. But Eric is consistently for the last season was pushing himself into danger because
absolutely.
And
there was a moment in this episode
too. He's totally the girl in that relationship.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, for sure. But there was a moment in this episode where you see Eric take a shot at a couple of people and kill a couple of people, and you see Aaron look over and he gives a little smirk, like, yeah, that's my man.
Well, it was after he said we have to move in on them because they're going to get out of this place. He's like, no, the plan is to do this. And Eric goes, no, we have to do this. And so he went against the plan, and lo and behold, best laid plans this whole episode. It doesn't matter. So they don't always work out.
Super Hoovian in the chat said, phase 2, is this phase 2 in Friends where you put on sweatpants and go to a strip club? No, slightly different phase 2.
Definitely different.
Although if I'm going into a gun battle, I could wear sweatpants as long as I have a gun belt, you know.
If you're in a post-apocalyptic world with zombies, I think you can wear whatever the hell you want. As long as you have a gun, like that girl said to the one guy where she took his gun away, and she's like, "How's that feel?" Like, go do chores.
Lots and lots.
That was pretty funny.
I'd wear lots of duct tape.
What was your least favorite scene, Mrs. Malice?
Jesus not shooting the guy in the closet because he's an idiot. I'm sorry.
Once again, we have established that Mrs. Malice loves killing, blood,
brutality, ruthlessness, lack of mercy. Get at it.
On the side of revenge with Tara.
And he's not taking out the saviors. So
yeah,
he gave a sob story, but why?
But he felt bad. The guy peed himself.
And I loved that line later when he was like, "Do you know how hard it is to actually piss yourself?" Like on purpose.
It's like your penis knows it has pants on.
Seriously.
And I also wanted to, and I didn't like the fact that Rick and Daryl split up in the building, because if they hadn't split up, maybe all that whole scene wouldn't have gone down the way it went down.
But once again, the reason that happened was because Dwight's information so far has been 100%. This is the first time that it wasn't.
That's what I was about to say. Like, Dwight has been weirdly reliable. And Daryl kind of points out, he's like, man, the guy's a dirtbag. Like, we can't trust him forever.
Yeah.
But so far, he's been 100%. So the fact that this time, when they were told there was a gun cache there, and it turns out instead to be some kid room, like a baby, like a nursery?
The family. It's just a family.
Yeah, it was like a family center. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Dwight just get it wrong, or was he intentionally leading them to something that would make them monsters?
That's my question on that. It's not so much making them monsters, but he is so mad about losing everything that he's lost to Negan and the Saviors, that did he intentionally send them there to make everybody else lose just as much as he's lost?
I don't know. In my opinion, and this is just me, I think Dwight is fully on the side of Rick's group at this point.
I do too.
I think,
but I could see him wanting revenge on the people and knowing that if he's them there, knowing what their plan is to wipe them out. That
I think that Dwight he has the opposite of Stockholm syndrome. He's been hurt by those people so much. He's not clinging to them. He wants to hurt them in the worst possible way, which is maybe why he sent them to a family housing unit.
I want to welcome Alejandro Garcia into the chat. He's in the chat room. I think he got very perplexed by Super Hoovian Freak's comment about Friends because he put what?
She's not always the easiest to understand.
But Alejandro, if you're watching, what do you think about the episode? So go ahead.
I think Dwight's just using Rick's group. I think he's using the group to attack Negan, and then he's going to somehow betray them because that's who Dwight is. I don't like Dwight.
He's been flip-flop every time you see him.
Yep.
I would disagree. I would disagree.
From the first time you saw him when he was running away from Negan, and then they took the bowcaster, and then he was back with Negan, and then now he's been.
I would say that is entirely consistent for him.
Oh yeah,
he is out for number one. He is a survivor to the hilt.
Himself.
He's Eugene, but not as smart and a little bit more courageous.
Yes.
Whatever it's going to take for him to survive, he's going to do that. But with the caveat of the fact that the Saviors have literally broken him emotionally, so he wants to hurt them.
Yeah.
So I think that he may not stay loyal to Rick's group.
Oh no, he's not.
He's definitely with them as long as they're against the Saviors.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree.
I agree with that too. But like I said, he's just using Rick's group. That's it.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out what happens with that. I mean, if you guys want more details on how these characters are in like the comic books and stuff like that, Amazon, great resource to buy trade paperbacks from. Hit up our website, malice-corp.com. You'll see it right there in the corner, written on the screen. It's somewhere around here.
It's right.
But if you go to that website and click on the Amazon link on the website, that helps us out, and it gets you stuff because you get to buy stuff for yourself. So
it's one of the reasons that we can continue to do these podcasts. You're going to Amazon anyway. You just are. But help us out by going through our website.
Yeah. We're not going to ask you for a Patreon to go spend money to send to us. Just
good Lord. I'm so tired of hearing Patreon ads on podcasts.
But yeah, so moving along. So we had our least favorite moments. I want to talk about a little bit about the ending and the beginning, the kind of two parallels, and see if you guys kind of noticed what was going on there.
It was something I didn't notice until you pointed it out in the pre-show. Yeah.
So the episode opens up with getting faces of all the main characters from Rick's group, from the Hilltop, the Savior. Well, not the Hilltop. Hilltop wasn't really involved in this at all.
Very dramatic.
And it's showing Ezekiel and Carol and everybody that was at the door exploding and the zombies coming out in dust, looking scared, trying to rise above whatever they're in. Then it shows everybody else, Aaron and Rick, and very, very triumphant looking. They're almost staring out. Like, I thought Aaron was staring at things burning, like, hey, we're burning everything down. Like, they look super triumphant. And I thought that was going to be something we were going to flash back that was a flashback at the beginning of the episode. And then we were going to come up to the end of the episode and they've conquered something else. Well, lo and behold, what happens? Ezekiel and Carol, their group, does what their mission was and stop the one guy from saying anything. And he still says something, but Ezekiel's so high and mighty that he's like, nope, they know we're coming. we're still gonna destroy him. So he's all proud and happy. So you see his face at the end of the episode, and that's what you got. He's got this grin on his face. He's still proud. He's triumphant. He's gone from being what's going on, we're in dire straits, to triumphant. And then on the other side, everybody else has gone into dire straits, and so they're all distraught. I wanted to kind of know what your thoughts were on kind of mixing that dichotomy between the starting and the end of the episode.
He does say in the last, I think in the end of the last episode, or the first episode of the season, was something about them winning a victory, winning another victory, and even if they fail, they've won. So that's probably why he had that grin on his face, because even though they were kind of caught, he knows they're going to win. Because it's like,
and he had a speech about that. He said, "You know what? Do I believe we're going to win, or do I have to act like we're going to win?" Yes, and also yes and no.
No, and then yes to both. Yeah, that was
because
I was so.
And that was the entire, as Mrs. Malice said earlier, the title of the episode should have been "Fake It Till You Make It, Baby," because it was especially for that portion of the group. That portion of the group succeeded in their mission. They did it well. It was touch and go from time to time, but in that, this is why I love the character of King Ezekiel. The guy, he's just a guy. He was a zookeeper. He happened to have a tiger, but he projects such confidence, such leadership. And even though it's crap, and I believe that most of the people in the kingdom know it's crap, they love it anyway. There's a scene where he issues orders to all the kingdom soldiers around him, and they all just rush off to do it. And Carol is left there standing like, man, this is really working. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
So did you see that flip coming, Mrs. Malice? Did you see him or do you think everybody was just going to stay hunky-dory? And
Nah, I saw it coming, but I don't know. I think they could have attacked everything a little bit better. I kind of did not like this. This is probably one of my least favorite episodes right now. So, out of all the Walking Dead series,
why? How come? I think it had a pretty solid structure.
I don't think there was enough Daryl. I think that's what it was.
not enough Daryl.
Kind of slow, and it's like it felt like they didn't do what they wanted to do, and they just did it sloppy.
No, but they didn't do it sloppy. It's just best laid plans never come to fruition.
Yeah,
they had taken out the guard with Carol and the kingdom. They took out the guard. He would have never threw the grenade that blew up the door with all the zombies in it. They didn't take him out right. So, because there was another.
But that's just plot structure. They have to have challenges.
That's true. But still,
if everything goes swimmingly for Rick's group every time, there's no show. It's just they take over the world.
That's true. They should. I mean, it's Rick's group. They should. They got Maggie and Daryl.
But going deeper into the character, so we were talking about Morgan and that being your favorite part of him going on a killing spree. But so we already know Morgan's past, where he was full on just kill them all type of thing, and how long it took for him to gain his sanity back and his morality. This almost seems like he's going off that deep end again, to the point that you get the flashback of him talking to Rick about the plans and stuff, and him telling Rick, we can't just go in there and kill people.
I was a little confused by the flashback thing. That was him morally arguing with himself.
I think so, and that's why I wanted to know your thoughts on that. Is Mrs. Malice, do you think he can come back from this, or do you think he's gonna go deep in and go full?
I think because of his past, I mean, what he's been through and how he had that one guy in the woods that kind of guided him, I think Morgan can come back from this because he is a strong person. So, he has that switch where he can go, I'm crazy, and then switch back to, okay, I'm cool.
I think that Morgan is the emotional equivalent of a serial monogamist. He's one way or he's the other. He has been full on kill. He's been clear.
Here you go. If he has a gun, he's going to go crazy. If he has a stick, he's all right.
And he was full on Terminator. It was like Terminator 1 with him walking through the hallways.
Yeah. At some point, not even looking.
I loved it. At one point, he was dual wielding. Yeah.
I want to welcome Robert to the chat. He said Carol was like, "Hey, look at these fools following this clown with the tiger."
Yeah, absolutely. But with Morgan, it's the dude doesn't do anything by half measures. He's fully, I refuse to kill even when people are going to be cannibalizing us, or he's going to be, I'm killing everyone in sight and try to stop me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even a second notice thing. It was cap.
Yeah.
Cap. Like,
absolutely. Now, whether or not he can come back, quote unquote, morally.
And once again, in this world, morality is a way different thing, but in his mind, he's not
by his own code of ethics.
Yeah.
But his own code of ethics, as I said, swings so far from side to side. If he ever wants to get back to the middle, if he wants to get back to standard humanity code of ethics, altered, of course, for the zombie apocalypse, I think that he needs, was it Jesus that stopped him? He needs that group of people around him. He needs a steadying influence, because otherwise he's going to go to one extreme or the other. That's just who he is, as we've seen through the show.
Yeah, he needs the kingdom.
And it's going back to what you guys were saying about that he's the compass for Rick is almost
that's almost a ludicrous concept, knowing who he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Rick's almost that, like, trying to give him that proper, here's the fine line. That's the fight that they've had amongst each other ever since Morgan came back.
Yeah, I think they have been the moral compasses for each other at various points, because Morgan has definitely been off the deep end at some point, and Rick has obviously been off the deep end at some point, but they have brought each other back closer to the middle over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I think that's one of the reasons why we love that character so much. It's that not only the connection to the past, but the fact that they make each other think about what they're doing and why.
Yeah. There's a fantastic conversation going on in the chat room about Carol right now. The last comment was, just don't go on a stroll with Carol to look at flowers.
Nope. And I remember after the first episode, I called that out, and then I saw it on Talking Dead later, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. So, no.
The flowers are a huge key for Carol, so there's like her little like thing.
Look at the flowers,
Carol, I don't want them to kill off Carol, but she's getting to the point of her arc where there's really not much more to go with her.
That's true.
In all honesty.
But I think if they kill Carol, Daryl will go nuts if she dies.
She's gone from the very weak person
to the very strong.
And then to the, I don't even want to be part of the group. I want to get away, and then getting pulled back into the group again. She's. You
know what? You might be right. You might be right. What did actually?
The only thing she hasn't had is a full release, and the only way that she'll get that full release, is death. She hasn't had that.
I'm trying to remember. I think I may have actually predicted Carol's death last episode when you asked us who we thought we would die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I may have said Carol, and I think I kind of agree with you there. There's not a whole lot left they can do with her character. I love her.
My favorite characters, but there's really, her arc is coming to a point where
and if she dies, it will be such a huge plot motivator that will incense Daryl. It will motivate Rick.
Yeah,
that would be huge.
So, and we got Beacon in the chat room. He's doing what he does best. He's binging the show. He's now on season 2, episode 11. So
stop listening then, dude.
Right? Spoilers.
The farm's about to be over. It'll get better.
He was in the chat. He mentioned that he liked the video. So
all your favorite characters will die.
He mentioned that he liked the videos. So all those watching, whether you're watching live or later, please hit that like button. And if you like our TV talks, we do Walking Dead every single week. We're going to do it every week for this season. We've started doing Supernatural. Our main
I'm the host.
Our main podcast is on Fridays for the Malice Corp brand as a whole, but that's going to be going on hiatus. And during the time it's on hiatus, we'll probably be doing a CW wrap up TV talks on during those times. So if you guys want to see more of those and know when they're going live, please hit that subscribe button and say yes to notifications, and they'll send you out every time we go live. So on the side of Rick, we talked about the fantastic acting that he did when dealing with finding out that he just killed this baby's father, and that's what the guy was really trying to do.
And by the way, how telegraphed was the fact that after knocking down that shelf, there were big supports sticking out of the wall. I was like, somebody's getting on that.
Yeah. I mean, the guy was doing the wrong moves to try and get out of that chokehold. He'd started right by bashing him against the wall.
Right? Go for the eyes. Go for the eyes. Don't pull the arm.
He couldn't. He was trying. No, he was trying. He couldn't reach because Rick was doing the pullback, so he was getting that out of that. But you don't go for the, or if you're going to go for the arm, you scratch as all hell and try and get that flesh off. But he should have been getting into those ribs. And should have Now we're talking about how to fight against Rick when he's on your back choking you out.
During zombies attack in a world where Negan rules.
But because of this situation, because of them going into basically a family stronghold area, and Rick's looking at himself in the mirror and seeing kind of what's going on and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about that on the self-reflection of who the real bad guys are? We know Negan's the real bad guy, but because of situations that have happened when they went after the saviors in the first place and killed him, and then Negan killed Glenn and Abraham because eye for an eye type of thing.
I don't agree that they went after the savior first.
Technically, Sasha. Technically her too.
Yeah.
I don't agree that they went after the saviors first. I think that that the raid that they did on that outpost was because they were being threatened, and they had met the hilltop where they were told what was going to happen if they didn't fall under the savior's reign.
And before that, Daryl, Abraham, and I think was it Rosary? No, I think it was Sasha. Actually, ran into the saviors groups on the road on their way back after leaving that herd. That was encounter with the saviors.
And there's definitely terrible, horrible, bad people in the saviors, but when you see how big their group is, can everybody really be bad? Yeah, the ones that are in the very, very forefront and the lead.
Of course
absolutely,
not.
But
no. That's why the dude that peed himself in the closet had a plausible story. Yeah. Because he said, I'm just a worker, man. They co-opted me. They got me from my group. They took me from my wife and kid. No, of course. Not everybody that is a savior is evil. But I think the important thing to realize is, and they've talked about this a little bit when in the whole rousing speeches that Rick and Maggie and Ezekiel did in the previous episode, the saviors take things through fear and through intimidation and through power. And I think the fact that Rick's group, Hilltop, Alexandria, the Kingdom, they don't do that. They invite cooperation. They don't force anything. And I think that clearly and I know it's all a gray area, but that makes them a white on a black and white scale.
Well, now they don't do that, but when Rick was going full on Rictator and becoming the dictatorship, that was his way of looking at it too, is that through fear and through, after losing the prison and when he went completely off the deep end, it was when they went to Alexandria, his whole secret mission was, we're going to take this place over because these are weak people. They don't.
It's true.
So it's there is a real fine line between what Rick became and what Negan is, because even the times Negan's come in and created fear, he's said, "Hey, I'll leave you food. I'll leave you." And then Rick pushes against him. He's like, "Okay, I'm taking it all."
I literally today watched the scene where Negan kills Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
And because I showed it to a coworker, and he said he has that whole, he justifies it morally. He goes, I didn't want to do this. I could see that you guys are hurting. That makes me feel real bad. But I told you, whack!
Yeah, and that's
because the second you back away from it, in this world, the second you back away from it,
and there's justification for that.
Yeah, you're gonna lose whatever power you've made.
It is absolutely a survival mechanism, not only for him but for his group. Because if they are the biggest, baddest dudes in the area, they have more chance of surviving. So it is absolutely a valid survival mechanism.
Survival of the fittest in the zombie world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you want to carry through and continue society in a, I mean, depending on how you can, equate morals, then I would lean towards Rick, because he's trying to make it cooperative and beneficial rather than just an iron fist.
Like the governor did. Because he was one that ruled with an iron fist.
Behind the scenes with the iron fist. He tried to make everything look different on the outside.
Yep.
But yeah, let's talk about the last character, and it comes back into the who's the real bad guys type of thing, and it's Morales getting introduced back. Morales lives. The actor that plays Morales has been letting it be known about Walking Dead for, I guess, a few months now, because I guess he's been tweeting out about the show like crazy. Had a picture of him with Negan's bat acting,
So dude did not sign a non-disclosure form.
Apparently not. He didn't say I'm coming back. He just made it like. But the last time we saw him was in season 1 with his family, when everybody doesn't really know what everything's going on. He decides to depart from them when they're getting ready to go to the CDC.
Mm-hmm.
So he just says, me and my family, we're going to Birmingham. So they're in Atlanta. They're going to Birmingham. So they're going to go to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird choice.
Yeah.
Well, they have family there. So, and once again, we don't know the extent of how bad everything is. It's the first season, 5th episode that he leaves. Pudgy guy, happy with his family. They leave. We see him now, a little more svelte, says it's been a long time. So what are we thinking?
How long has it been in timeline, in canon? Like 4 or 5 years?
Probably, 4 or 5 or 6 years. Maybe.
Yeah, because everything travel-wise has majority. I mean, they've done some walking, but it's been they're up by the DC area now. Remember, so they've moved a good chunk of space,
and they're not traveling like Game of Thrones.
No. Not on driving. No,
not going to cover 1,500 miles in a day and a half.
Did you do this, Mrs. Malice? I did this when he held the gun to Rick's head. I went to look to see if it was a 357 because that's what they gave him when he left with his family.
No, I didn't.
No, I went to look. It wasn't. I wanted to see if it was the same gun that they gave him to keep his family safe.
I'm pretty sure it was a 9mm.
It was. Yeah. But I had to go back and look because I rewatched the episode, and when he's like, "Yeah, me and my family we're gonna go to Birmingham."
Oh, that's right. Rick, they're like, gun. That's right.
Rick gives him a 357, and Shane gives him a half a box of bullets, and then Daryl shakes his head.
Makes sense.
But yeah, he was a happy man and stuff, and you can see now he's not happy. He's potentially a lieutenant with the Saviors. And
I want to know what happened to him. No.
Well, that's the thing is this shows the differences. They started off at the same spot, and in separation, one has ended up with the Saviors, one has ended up with all the stuff that they've ended up with. So, I mean, Mrs. Malice, what do you think? Do you think his family's alive? Do you think any of his family's alive? Do what? Do you think he blames Rick that maybe that they didn't push him to come with them, that they just let him leave?
I have a feeling that his family is not alive because he seems like he's so mad at Rick, and he might blame Rick for losing his family, or he's blaming Rick for attacking Negan where his family is. I don't know. Actually, don't know. Like, It could be either or. So I don't know.
What about you, Zorro?
I definitely got a little more of a desperation, like I'm the last man standing kind of vibe. I don't think his family's still there.
Okay. So you think if he could potentially be blaming that they didn't push him harder to stay?
I don't think he's blaming Rick at this point. I just think he, you know, if the timeline that we think is correct, if he's been there for 4 or 5 years, at this point it's just Rick is attacking the people that is his group. And that goes back to who's the real bad guys. So the way he looks at it is, this was a good guy. Now he's attacking families. The family. Yeah. No, sure, for sure. He just killed that little girl's dad. That's not good. Yeah. You know. So but I definitely get the feeling, just from my viewpoint, that his family's probably gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it has been confirmed that he will definitely be in the next episode. So, maybe we'll get a flashback episode to explain more about the character. More flashbacks.
Is it a big enough character for a flashback episode?
I think there should be one. I would like to see one. So
if they're going to show kind of what the difference is between the split off, to show how somebody was part of this group,
I can see that
with the Saviors.
The difference between their travels, sure.
Do you think it's going to be like, he looks like he's perfectly fine bringing the Saviors in? So do you think it's going to be a situation where, unlike Rick and Alexandria, where they and the Hilltop and stuff, where he actually had good experiences with the people that were part of it and shows the two sides of an army?
I don't know if it's that he had good experiences so much as just, this is who has helped me survive. But I mean, you know, if they were to do a retrospective for that character, I would love to see how they do it. Weird side note. Did you notice when Daryl saw the room that he was held captive in?
Was that the room he was held captive in, or did it just look like?
I
thought it just looked like another one of those,
or maybe it just reminded him of it. There was,
it was like the same style, because where Daryl was held at was actually the attack of the zombies, because that's where he escaped from.
But there was handcuffs and like a shit sandwich.
So
dog food sandwiches, yummy.
The last thing we'll shut down with is the whole Rick and Maggie. Jesus really pushing the factor of that these people don't know what they're doing and they'll surrender and we should save them. And Tara pushing revenge that these people all know what they're doing and we should kill them all. And that's what the plan is. He says he'll talk to Maggie and Maggie will listen. She says she'll talk to Rick and Rick will listen. So
she doesn't just say Rick will listen. She says Rick will override Maggie, essentially.
Basically,
I think this is where Jesus doesn't understand Maggie, because of what Maggie's been through with Glenn and losing Glenn. I think she's going to be like, no, kill them all.
I don't get that vibe from Maggie.
Yeah, I would disagree.
I get it.
I get there can be true leadership. You don't have to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, that the people have been put into a bad situation like she's been put into. So that's the vibe I get from her. So that's what I want to know is, do you think this is going to cause, so you think they're going to agree on it and that they should just kill off everybody is what Rick and Maggie are going to come, you know, and then Jesus is going to be in this weird place with Maggie.
I find myself more on the side of Jesus than Tara, especially because she's so clearly doing it out of emotional hurt and revenge motivation. However, I wish Jesus wouldn't make it a blanket statement. That dude in the closet, come on, that was clearly a setup. But that whole group of people, they surrendered. They laid down their guns. The dude said, yeah, I'm sorry, I prefer being alive. Hey guys, let's not be as stupid as they think we are. Yeah. And you know what my first thought was when those people laid down their guns and came out of that storage locker or whatever it was? I wonder which one of these are going to be the new main characters in the group.
True.
Yeah. And that's what I'm wondering, if this is going to cause an issue between Hilltop and Alexandria, where Rick's going to side with Tara, Maggie's going to side with Jesus, and then there's going to be this whole, now we're splitting this group that we got together.
Because they don't have enough drama already.
you think about it, Rick and Maggie have known each other longer than they have known Jesus and Tara. Tara didn't start with them. And Maggie came in during the farm, and she's been with them since then. So I think Rick and Maggie will end up talking about it and then coming to like a conclusion, but I'm pretty sure Maggie is going to side with Rick.
Well, there's a difference between knowing each other and leading people.
Yeah, so. And I think that Maggie is definitely taking her own leadership path at this point. So if they have differing opinions, she's going to stand her ground.
That's true.
So if yeah, exactly. So it's more drama potentially being set up. So
more entertainment.
What do we think is going to happen next episode? Any hot takes?
I would say we're going to see Father Gabriel and Negan.
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah.
You think the same thing, Mrs. Malice?
Tiger eating more people.
She wants blood and mayhem and death and destruction. More of that, please.
Since they were making Morales such a key point at the end, I think we may get some backstory on what happened after the group separated.
I do too. I think we're gonna get more backstory on him too.
I feel if we get that, it's going to be another 3 or 4 episodes along after he's been like working. Like we're definitely going to see an episode that's dedicated to the other side of the conflict that we haven't seen this episode, the Father Gabriel Negan. And then we're going to see maybe some more progress on both sides with some more involvement from what's his name? Family Guy. Yeah, Peter.
Yeah, there's got to be an episode coming up.
But then after we see some more involvement from that guy, then we're going to see his backstory. So I would say his backstory, if it happens, is 2 to 3 episodes in the future.
Yeah, probably 3rd or 4th. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will be back here next Sunday or next Monday to talk more of The Walking Dead, episode 3. We'll just find out timing wise.
Let's bank on Monday.
Yeah. Most likely. So you guys come back next Monday at 9:00 Pacific Standard Time to talk with us about the episode and let us know your thoughts and reactions to the episode and what's going on. If you don't like what we said about the episodes, if you think something completely different, please leave it in the comments below. We want to keep these conversations going. We want to hear what everybody's thoughts are out there, and we would love to hear your thoughts.
Our opinions are not canon. Your opinion could be totally right, and we could be totally wrong.
Matters, no matter what Negan says.
So, if you did like our comments and you want to even further that conversation on things we said, once again, leave them in the comments below. We do go back and look at the comments. We do respond to them. So, with that, a couple places that you can follow us. Make sure to follow us on our website, malice-corp.com. It's been a super, super busy time. Hard to get a lot of articles out there, but those will be coming. We'll be getting more up-to-date things coming with pop culture and nerd. And we have our current nerd fight going on, the best CW premiere this season. So if you guys love CW shows, definitely go vote on your favorite so far, whether it's one of the superhero shows, one of the
so many superhero shows,
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend show, or Supernatural. Go vote. You can vote every 12 hours for the next 2 weeks. And if you're in the San Diego area, definitely make sure to check out Battle Mage. It's a fantastic bar that serves great geek stuff and beer.
Sure.
And as Mess may have mentioned, this is not the only podcast we do. We do other TV talks. We have our main cast, and a lot of those are occasionally transcribed to audio form. So if you want to listen to something in the car, something nerdy, Stitcher, iTunes, go to those, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're not exactly caught up on ripping them right now, but I tell you what, our main producer, Jack Malice, he has said that if more people like and subscribe, he's going to catch up real quick. So,
exactly.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And check out your local comic shop. They do a lot to bring you guys stuff, and you should go in there and support them. In San Diego, we have Sky High Comics. In Ohio, there's Turbo Comics. Just go check out your local comic shop. They're always great guys in there, and they'll tell you
always worth it. They're always going to have something good that's going to fit your tastes.
Yeah. But with that, where can we follow? You can follow Malice Corp on Twitter at Malice Corp, or you can follow this cast and any of the casts we do at MaliceCast on Twitter. You can also follow Malice Corp on Instagram at Malice_Corp. I do send out the thumbnails before the casts to let you guys see them and know when we're going live. So if you follow either one of those, we will let you know when we're going live. You can follow Jack Malice, our producer, at Jack Malice on Twitter.
Is it Jack _ Malice?
I think it's just Jack Malice.
Okay.
Maybe it's Jack _ Might be Jack. We'll double check that. I follow him, so I don't pay attention to it. I just type in Jack. Where can we follow you? Where can we follow you, Zorro?
I am at ICZorro on both Twitter and Instagram. I not only do all these TV talks and stuff and a lot of nerd stuff, but I'm also a real wine nerd. So there's a lot of pictures and winemaking stuff going on there.
It is at Jack _ Malice on Twitter.
Malice, I was going to say something too.
So if you want to say anything to our Walking Dead fanatic nerd, Mrs. Malice, go follow Jack Malice and send tweets to him, and he'll relate them to her because yeah.
They share.
You can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at Mess5150 or on Instagram at Mess5150. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We will be back next week to talk more Walking Dead. Thursday we'll be here for Supernatural, and you guys keep nerding on.
Carry on, folks.
Bye.